Exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News, CNBC News, NBC Sports Radio Station KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Tiki Live, Podchaser, JioSaavn, Rumble, and more. Why? Because I want to maximize my splatter zone for more hope and happiness as Sam gets oriented and is making me a little bit seasick. That means it is Thursday. It is time for Straight Talk with Dr. Marissa and co-host
Sam Works.
So happy to have you here. Love seeing eyeballs roll in already, preparing for this talk that doubles as entertainment, a little bit of sex education, and who knows what else is going to come on. I said, come on, like literally, maybe not literally, but I said to Sam backstage in the green room, you know, this is going to be an interesting topic. And he goes, as always, as usual. So I'm delighted to reintroduce you to my every Thursday co-host. He's also doubling as my sound engineer. He does that for me on Tuesdays and Thursdays. But Thursdays, the story goes, I began to, force him to do some talking when I was on Tuesdays and Thursdays, starting just with a couple comments, and then invited him to have breakfast with me on Thursdays, taking a bite of our gratitude sandwich. And then after that, it just snowballed from there. And I'm so delighted to welcome back Sam Works. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Doing good. Did you have a good week?
I did. Hey, can
Good.
I share something with you real quick?
Can it be part of the gratitude sandwich because it's a good gratitude, or is something else?
It's about the gratitude sandwich.
Oh, okay. Let's hear it.
So I was at this girl's house, and before we went to sleep, I had her do the gratitude sandwich.
Wow.
Yeah. And
That's
after we did the gratitude sandwich, she thanked me. She's like, "Thanks for doing this. Like, I that was really nice." I was like, "You can thank Dr. Marissa."
I'm getting gratitude from Sam's bed conquest. No, I'm kidding. From his love life. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's just jump into it then. If some of you have never heard what a gratitude sandwich is, it is a tool, a Happy 88 tool that I use from my best-selling book, 8 Ways to Happiness, from wherever you are, little plug there, that has helped people change the trajectory of their day. So first thing in the morning, we do 8 specific gratitudes. What are we grateful for? And then at the bottom of the day, the bottom of the bun, before you go to bed, 8 appreciations of what you like about yourself. So let's start with the top of the bun. Sam, what are you grateful for this morning?
I am grateful for not waking up with a toe tag.
Good one. I'm grateful that I can help Sam look good with his dates at night before bed. What are you grateful for?
I am grateful for all the knowledge that I obtain in my life to help others.
I am grateful for all the life lessons that are not about anyone punishing me and forcing me to learn the lessons. That's not what I think God is. He's not, you have to go through hardship constantly to learn a lesson. I see life lessons as beautiful ways to chisel us into more and more beauty, more and more love, more and more expansion. And for that, I am truly grateful that I don't see it as I've done something wrong in this life to deserve hardship.
It's pretty deep.
Yeah, it is. I didn't know what I wasn't planning on that one. Go ahead.
I'm grateful for the holidays because it kind of forces family to, be together, even if we don't want to.
Yeah, that's one way of looking at it. Definitely let's put this on for a second here. Definitely, I'm grateful for the holidays that remind us that it is a season of joy and that we do not have to have the holiday blues if we choose not to.
Hey, there you go.
Definitely
And my last gratitude, I'm grateful for rain. We don't get rain that often. We got hit pretty hard this past week. And
yes, we did.
Rain's a good thing.
Yes. Rainy days and Mondays always get me up. Hashtag UP. I am grateful that there are unlimited possibilities in life. And that's the top of the bun. I did get way deeper, probably because you started in bed this morning. The bottom of the bun. What are 4 things that you like about yourself, Sam, so that you are approving of yourself and not walking around looking for who likes me literally on social media?
One thing that I appreciate about myself is that I'm starting to do more for the community and less for myself.
I appreciate that I can sit with uncomfortableness without action.
Okay. I appreciate about myself I appreciate that I have faith in something.
I appreciate that I have had this epiphany around not playing small just to make other people feel more comfortable.
Okay, I like that. I'm still working on that. I appreciate how observant I am I appreciate how I observe and not absorb.
Ooh, wait a minute. Say that again. I forgot it after the applause. I appreciate how I can what and not absorb?
Observe and not absorb.
Wow, that's deep. Man, observe and not absorb. Beautiful, beautiful. That's unconditional living, not being swayed by what's going on around you. And my last appreciation is that I've had the gospel according to Nike, just do it, to the point that I have lost 29 pounds now.
All right.
For since Valentine's.
What happened on Valentine's for you to start losing weight?
Yeah. Good question. Thank you for that. I woke up and I did not have a Valentine's date by choice. And I realized that it was because I just could not feel good about even the idea of my body being naked and someone else seeing it. So you really can't date when you are not going to feel good about yourself. Right. And no matter how many compliments of you look great, you look beautiful, blah, 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 I didn't feel it. I'd look in the mirror and go, blah. So I decided that I still had some 8,000 days left that I probably could enjoy another's company, even though I'm happily divorced. And I've been single 5 years, 4 months, 3 weeks, 2 days, and an hour, but who's counting?
In an hour.
And I and I decided that, you know what, I'm going to do something about this. And that I launched Love Myself, Love My Body Project 1.0. And then when I went to Canada, when my mom almost died, I gained back, probably from stress eating, 6 or 7 pounds. So I had to re-up myself and go into Love Myself Project 2.0, and then lost that weight and a little more. So I'm down 32, I believe, from the all-time high weight that I've had. But from February, I'm down 29. So
Well,
I'm
congratulations.
truly grateful. Thank you. And it's feeling good. It's definitely feeling good. Not sure if I'm going to date yet, but I'm getting there. If anybody wants to be in the, what is that in baseball when they start warming up? What is that? The cage? Not the cage. You know, when you go and you're starting to practice, what is that place called? The bullpen?
I guess I don't watch baseball.
Oh, you know what? Okay.
Yeah.
The warm-up area.
I literally thought baseball had a halftime, and
oh, okay. Well, you're worse than me. You are definitely worse than me. I used to go watch. For those of you who are on LinkedIn or and you want not LinkedIn. For those of you who are in your car listening, my beautiful, fabulous listeners on the road who have made me the number one 8 a.m. show to listen to on the way to work. Thank you very much. But if you're landing soon, you can stream with us. I just put the link up on Linktree. So just go to today's show and then you can stream and chat with us and give us your 8 cents worth on today's topic. So what is today's topic, Sam?
Well, talking about dating down and dating up.
And we're not talking top and bottom.
That's next week's episode. Stay tuned.
God, I love my life. And I love this show. It gives me a chance to be naughty, and hopefully station manager and station owner are not listening right now. Anyway, so what do you mean, Sam, when you're talking about dating down?
Well, the biggest thing, I guess.
How big?
We have time, so I can really break it down. But
yeah.
Guys usually tend to date down and girls usually tend to date up. So, for example, guys want to date a girl who has less money, who is shorter, who is body count is lower, who is just basically everything, right? Uh-huh. They have a less of a career, less of a job, less of a life, so to speak. And girls is the opposite. They want to date a guy who's taller, who has more money, who has more of a life, who has a higher career, who's not a virgin. I would say who has a higher body count, but then that gets a little controversial. So
what's body count?
How many people you sleep with?
Oh, I thought you were talking about weight. I'm glad I asked. Okay. So, heavier,
Yes.
But you're talking about how many conquests they've had.
Yes. So girls date up, guys date down, right? Because a guy doesn't want to date a girl who's taller than him, who makes more money than him, who has a better career life than him, who has more of a body count than him. That just doesn't make sense in most people's eyes.
Well, it doesn't make sense in the category of men that you're talking about. So before we go stereotyping, however, I'm not disagreeing with you that is the perception, right? And your experience with your mates that you go out with, that the majority of the guys that you go out with that you see want that. Someone who is, I would say, less threatening, right?
Yes.
Because if the woman has a higher, well, if a woman has a higher body count, most guys would not want someone who is more experienced maybe in bed and or has the reputation of being a, you know, that and putana in Italian. I'm not going to say it in English, so y'all know what that means. But you don't want a woman who sleeps around. And yet, somehow, for some women, having a player is a good thing, or maybe not a good thing, but it's interesting. I tagged on Sam's topic by saying the cousin to this little conversation is, why is it I had a girlfriend who said, I can walk in a room full of available guys and I go straight to the guy that has the t-shirt on that says, I'm an ash hole. Okay. That's from The Good Place. I'm saying it so I'm not going to get in trouble with the FCC, but I picked the player. Why is it of all the nice guys in a room that I go and zoom in on the one guy that is most likely going to yank my chain and break my heart, be a jerk to me instead of the good guys? And why is it that I'm attracted to the one guy who's not attracted to me? And I've had this experience. You have this field of men who, I mean, it happens right now. I have plenty of admirers on my social who say really nice, complimentary, nice things, and I had this video with me putting mud on me, and one of my guys said, you look beautiful even with mud. And I'm like, instead of a heart, I put a ha-ha, because I'm uncomfortable with the romantic attention from anyone that I'm not attracted to. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And then the ones that I actually reach out to and say, hey, what's going on? They're like, have a good life. So he didn't say have a, that's the one I told you about, when I said I'm too body insecure to go out with you, he said we could keep the lights off. That's the one I'm talking about.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. So why is that? And if you are listening and you have this experience, or you are curious about the phenomena behind it, please do put that in the chat.
Okay, I think I have an idea.
Okay.
I think it's because it's too easy. When life is too easy, it gets boring, and you're not attracted to being too easy. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's kind of fun trying, like, humans, you have to earn stuff in life, right? Mm-hmm. And if stuff is already just handed to you, you don't appreciate it. You don't get excited about it. Not as much as if you earned it, if you chased it, if you hunted it down, and if you actually put effort in it, right?
So you're saying that when someone likes you too easily, there's not enough of a work effort to make that happen. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, if you put it in a different perspective, let's say like someone just handed you $1 million. Oh, that's fun. That's fantastic. But imagine if you earned that $1 million. Then
I don't know. That's that Powerball. I could have easily accepted that Powerball and been extremely excited about it. Congratulations too to the guy or gal in Altadena. Did you hear about that? One winner. Yeah, one winner. I don't know any more than there was one winner in Altadena, but I'm happy too for the place that sold it, because they're getting some love and attention.
But going back to like dating and stuff, like, you're still gonna be flattered. But you're not gonna hit that home run feeling. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then for the a-holes out there, there's a sense of like dominance and control, like alpha in that retrospect. So maybe that's something that women are attracted to.
Okay. I'll buy that. I'll buy that. There's I think too, for some women, I know the 7 out of 10 of us who've had childhood trauma, we do tend to pick men who you have all the red flags that they're not going to treat you well, and you pick them anyways because of unhealed stuff that you don't think you're worthy of a nice guy. You don't think you're worthy of having someone who will treat you well. You may be trying to fix that primary relationship that made you feel bad about yourself. And so you're comfortable with a mate who it could be a guy or a gal who makes you feel less than. So I know that that's a dynamic too of why we seem to do those things. But it is interesting that even healthy, healed people who are, so to speak, normal, still have this tendency. And, I know strong, successful, powerful women, beautiful, who still tend to choose men who are not necessarily good to them, or choose men who everybody warns them against. And I just find that really interesting, why that happens. And people, I mean, that I'm totally in that category. People will say, I remember I had an assistant for 10 years, and I had her put together, and she knew my husband, and I had her put together photos and frames. And so she went through my life, and she goes, I just don't understand how you, a PhD with all this going on, picked a man like your husband. I just don't understand how that happened. And my only defense is we were both broken individuals, and we found each other, and we had to do the work that we did to figure out that we weren't the best for each other. But it is a very common theme. So I absolutely understand how that happens.
And that was your most recent, right, relationship?
No, the most recent relationship, he was quite a bit younger than I. My daughter pointed out that there was 17 years between me and him, and 17 years between her and him. And that relationship again was one where I dated down. So I broke your rule.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that because but I elevated him in my head. So this is a thing that many women will do, is highlight potential instead of reality. So my husband, I would say, worked for sales and marketing for Anheuser-Busch because that sounded good. When in reality, he was a truck driver, a delivery driver, no offense, but I'm just showing the disparity, for a bottling company, a distributor of Anheuser-Busch. So I stretched the, truth about him so that I could explain why I was with him. And then same thing with this last one I dated. I would look past who he has been and present him in a completely different light, which he was aspiring to be. But my daughters were like, I can't believe that you're dating someone who used to be a drug dealer, and yeah.
Dr. Marissa.
I know. But, it's really interesting, that dynamic. I think part of that, honestly, is still that one, as I continue my journey of self-worth and see what I deserve or am worthy of, that's one. Two is, when do we stop judging people by what they do? That's two. right? You could have, because there's a lot of successful women who date men who aren't as successful in the outside eyes, and they take that female role, stay-at-home dad, or that back production. You're in the front producing the money, and they're in the back end taking care of the home. And I don't know many successful pairings like that. I know in principle it sounds like it's equality and all of that. I tried it and it didn't work, for a whole host of reasons. So maybe it's that. Maybe it's I'm not attracted to older men who are successful, and because I see myself as ageless, and I'm attracted to youth or younger looking men. All of the above to describe, to answer your question. Why, Dr. Marissa, did that happen?
Well, maybe you're attracted to progress. Like as
No.
a young fellow, he has time and potential. Like you said, you like to highlight all the potentials that someone has. As far as you dating an ex drug dealer, that's kind of crazy, Dr. Marissa. Maybe you're in it for the thrill. I don't know.
Well, I mean, he was in recovery, and so he was not doing that anymore. So,
And he started to level up, right?
oh yeah, he was definitely leveling up, but the gap, that's the thing. It's the gap, right?
Mm,
So how much of a gap can you
accept.
and then I mean, that brings us to what is truly important in the attraction. So what is more important? Because I know women, very successful women. One of them was on my show, who is with a man that I when you look at him, you're like, what? Shorter, not as attractive at all, but he is incredibly business acumen, has really taken her, and she can concentrate on her creative craft and what she does well, and then he handles all the business. I would love to meet a man like that.
Mm.
I right now I want someone who's a mechanic, a masseuse, and a smart businessman, all rolled into one, and that will be my next date.
You'll never find him. Just kidding.
There's the challenge.
Yeah. I mean, for sure, everyone kind of wants to have those traits, right? Because what is a man if they can't fix things? Fix your car, fix your house, even fix your broken emotions, But at the same time, it's really hard, and like
How
in a
hard is
business.
it?
I had a joke about that, but I'm just not on the air.
Ah!
So it's really hard for someone to really be that perfect somebody, and that's where it's like, okay, it's not more like, hey, are they perfect, but are they worth it? Like, yeah, this guy might be shorter than you and not as good looking as you, but he has all those other attributes that you necessarily put in the need category rather than like the want category. And the whole dating up, dating down, I mean, that's just like people tend to fall into that, because I know girls who are like 5'8", 5'9", they won't date any guy who's shorter than them, which
I
is
used, yeah, I used to have that. Go ahead, finish that, and then I'll tell
which
you.
is tragic because now they literally took about half the population and pushed them to the side, and now your choices, your options are very minimal. And then it's not even about the height. Now they have to, make 100,000 a year. Well, now you have even a smaller percentage, and then now they have to, you know, be good in bed. Well, that's even a smaller percentage, and it really just breaks it down to like, okay, you're looking for a unicorn when there's not even one in the world.
Yeah, that's a really good point and a really good part of the discussion, because if you are brought up on Cinderella or Snow White, you are looking for your prince. And I'm speaking to women or men who are looking for that one. And if you're young in your teens and 20s, I'll speak for myself. Every year, I added one more thing on the list. So it used to be 6'2". I mean, not even 6'1", like 6'2", 200 pounds, really, buffed, had, six pack, 12, had packs all
12
over.
pack.
That's below.
You're really dreaming.
All kinds. Yeah. And then, made good money, and all those things. And every year, and once a year, I would take a trip up the coast and drive in my convertible. And I called it my therapy ride once a year from LA to San Francisco. And it's so beautiful. And I would contemplate, what I was, where I was, what I had done well, what I wanted to do differently. And it's professionally, I'd, hit all the goals, but personally, I was dating guys that liked me and I didn't like them. Those ended, or trying to date guys that I liked and they were not, and just kept going to the Tractor for Milk to get them to like me. And it was just a mess. And one year I realized that my list was so long that not even a unicorn could fulfill that list. So I decided to throw out the list. And I looked at, what made me successful was less the goal orientation, but being in the right place at the right time and having an intuitive understanding of what the issues were made me a good consultant. And so I thought I would try that with my personal life. And so I threw out the list and I came back, and literally within 3 months, I met my husband. He didn't meet anything on the list except for the 6'2". That was the only thing he met on the list was 6'2", and everything else was out the window. And it was not a good match, right? So what I learned was there's a balance to, you can't have such a long list, but there have to be some things that are deal breakers, which is the word I couldn't fucking remember last week if you were tuned in. But that's the word I was looking for. So that, I believe, if you can isolate 3 specific things that from your relationships, and this is the thing that I think as a tool that I'm hoping people will use, and you in particular, Sam, because you're young and you're formulating that every relationship you have, instead of saying they were not the right one, or they didn't represent who they really were, or the red flags, or instead of making them the bad guy, every single relationship you have, and I tell this to my daughters every time, what have you learned about yourself and what your preferences are and what brings out the best in you that you can now use as a baseline, so that you're not repeating those kinds of relationships, to know what you want, what you need, what you don't want, what you don't need, so that every relationship is that progress in, so you're not going to all or nothing like I did, literally, but that there's some, and they're not to the point where instead of hating that person and saying you wasted my time, there's never time wasted if you can learn something from that relationship. What would this world be like if every breakup, instead of saying they're such an a-hole, they're a teacher. Thank you for helping me understand that I really do want someone who has a generous heart, right? Or I really do need someone who has the ambition that I value. So all of those things. What have you learned, Sam? I would say the top 3 things that based on your experience so far that are so important to you? Caveat asterisk, it could change because you're going to change in 5 years
Yeah.
from now. Who knows?
See,
Thank you for that thumbs up on that.
so a couple things, Dr. Marissa.
Yes.
I'm 6'1.5", and I'm like 11 pounds shy from 200 pounds.
Are you putting yourself on the butcher block?
When you're like 6'2", 200 pounds, it's like I didn't meet your quota.
Almost.
But the last 3 relationships that I've had has been a learning experience for me, and I've acknowledged it. So the first one was like she really helped me open up and made me become myself more, rather than trying to like fit in with the crowd. My second relationship helped me become more of a man. Like that's what she wanted, and I wasn't quite there yet. So I was learning how to like step up, put my foot down, speak up, be a mechanic, things like that. And this last one really taught me how to be patient, right, with a lot of things, not just like in bed, but like with the emotions, with the relationship itself, patience. And she asked me that a couple days ago. She was like, well, have you learned anything from your past relationships? And I was like, yeah, actually I have. Like, do. When it comes to like changing your mindset, like I used to be attracted to like physical looks. Now, not so much, just because I know that beauty is only temporary anyways. Unless you have a beautiful soul, then you can be 90 and I can still be like, wow, she's beautiful. This past Halloween, this is the first time this happened. I saw a bunch of people posting like their little like outfits and, dressed up with like bare minimum clothes. And I was kind of disgusted. I'm not gonna lie. Like this is the first time where I wasn't attracted to that. I was like, ugh, like you girls are really putting themselves out there. But there's definitely 3 things that I feel like needs to be addressed when it comes to being in a relationship, and that's your belief, right? Because I'm religious, and it's like if I believe in a heaven, and if I believe that if I die, I'm gonna go to heaven, I want you to believe in heaven too, so you can be there in the afterlife. You know what I mean? But if you don't, you're not gonna be there, and that would suck. Also, and I don't swing left or right in the political spectrum, but I do believe in like politics is pretty heavy because that's also your belief system as well, and then your finances. Like this one girl that I dated during the pandemic, she would just throw all her money out, and I'm like, you need to save money. And she's like, why? I was like, because just in case like an emergency happens or like something catastrophic happens. She's like what, the pandemic? I'm like, yeah, that's a good one. And she's like, stimulus checks. I'm like,
What did she say?
Stimulus checks.
Oh, wow.
And then, well, because her family is pretty wealthy, so like she never had to worry about money. On my end, I've always had to worry about money, so it's like I don't want someone just throwing their money out. Like I want them to be smart about their money. I want them to be smart about what they believe in, and I want them to believe in something. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't have to be Christian, but I just want you to believe in something, have faith in something, because it helps you move forward in life. You know what I mean? Those are my 3 things.
Those are great things. Those are very non-superficial, right?
Yeah.
Not about the outside. So I will say my top 3 things are: 1, I want to be physically attracted. Like I want to feel desire for that person. And that doesn't have to be just physical, but I want to actually, and this is not an easy one. And that's why I listed it first, is because I'm so comfortable in my own skin now and I'm my best date right now. And so I want to make sure it's very difficult for me to even think about dating because I think about things that I have to give up. So that's if I'm physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually attracted to that person, and it has to hit all of those indices, then I know that that's a person that I, want to spend time with, because time is my most valuable resource. So I can't see myself giving that up for someone that I'm not literally attracted to. So attraction is number one. Number two is a super strong and comfortable sense of self. So they don't need something from me. And I think partially it's not fair to others because I do this kind of work. And so I'm really less comfortable being emotionally supportive maybe than I could be. Like, you want a partner who's emotionally supportive, but there's a really fine line between, I don't want you with me because you want me to help you with unpacking your emotional baggage. I want you to have had that work done somewhere else so that I'm not here to be in the role that I am in public with you in private. So that one is a super strong one. So that's two. And three is, I cannot be with someone who walks around like Eeyore, you know, anyone who is not as positive as I am. It's going to be super difficult because I do not want to spend my time, trying to put rainbows in your rain parade. I can't even imagine it. So that does make the pool littler, and it's not. I'm not going to say it doesn't exist, but ergo why I'm single. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it is definitely, and hello to my Instagram people. You're on Instagram. Say hi. To MS Dill and to Brand Innovator. Happy to have you. You can also comment and go to my YouTube channel to free subscribe there so that you can participate. We're talking about attraction. We're talking about relationships, what's truly important. If you've just tuned in, this is Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show, and every Thursday special series, Straight Talk with Dr. Marissa and fabulous co-host,
Sam Works.
This is KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. We'll be right back after a short commercial break.
Right.
Actually, we only have 12 minutes. You
know
what? We only have 12 minutes. Never mind. Don't go to break. I will just say that if you are, I don't have it up, if you would like a pair of tickets to Gordon Lightfoot in concert at the Saban Theater in Beverly Hills, then that is the Asian Oprah giveaway for today. The Saban Theater is an amazing place. Paul Anka is going to be there. The Temptations, as I said, Gordon Lightfoot. There's a whole host of fabulous entertainers there. My show sponsor, Where Music Meets the Soul Productions with Dana. Just go to sabantheater.org or Where Music Meets the Soul, and you can find tickets there. So go to drmarissa.life, put in Gordon Lightfoot, or put in attraction. That's today's topic in the subject line at drmarissa.life, and you will win the Asian Oprah giveaway. And we're talking about attraction. We're talking about things that are not no-brainers, but again, why do I forget that word?
Deal breakers.
Deal breakers. What is your deal breaker? What are 3 things that you really absolutely need to have a relationship? And then for those of you who are in a relationship right now, and you're saying, I don't have those 3 things in my relationship, do I have permission to go and find someone else? No. The answer is no. You've been in a relationship for a reason. And here's another Happy 88 tool. If you're in a relationship where you're not having fun 88% of the time or 80% of the time, I want to ask you, when you started your relationship, did that person have those three things? And if the answer is yes, then you have stopped focusing on what is good in that relationship and done the lazy, sloppy focusing on noticing things that are not right in that relationship. And that is on you. And that is part of that's your side of the street to clean up. Anytime a relationship is not what you want it to be, the first thing is not to dump the person. The first thing is where are you focused? When was the last time you sat down and held that person's hand, looked in their eyes, bless you, and said, bless you, and said, I love that you are. And then it described to them those things that is like a gratitude sandwich that is specific for that person. If you do that for 30 days and still want to leave that person, come talk to me. But that is the first level of fixing a relationship that is not fulfilling for you, is to go back to the place where you were happy with that person 80% of the time. Had to put that in there.
And the same thing goes away with like hating someone. Like if you just find someone annoying and you like in your head, you keep saying like, oh, I don't like this person. I don't like this person. Then you really start to like trick yourself to really hate that person. And it goes like vice versa. Like if you start to acknowledge like why you like this person and focus on those desires, then you'll start to, lean more towards of the admiring rather than the hating,
Absolutely. And so I didn't mention law of attraction when I said the third thing, but that's part of you people who are worry warts or the glass is half empty, worst case scenario, Eeyore. Those are people who do not live by the law of attraction, because if they did, they would know that the more you focus on things that are unhappy, ugly, wrong, bad, hurtful, depressing, anxious, worry, lack, limitation, the more will come to you. And so if you're a student of the law of attraction, that already is great in the wheelhouse of my attraction to you, because I know that practice, that discipline of looking for the good will keep you from being a negative person. So if you want to start being more positive, not necessarily because you want to date me, but if you want a happier life, then truly that is, I don't know one person who is practicing, like really seriously practicing, who is a glass half empty person.
Yeah, there's a saying, your frequency is what you frequently see. So,
geez, that's two. Holy camole, Sam. You're on fire. First, he came up with earlier, what you don't observe, don't absorb. See, I remembered it. And then this one is,
your frequency is what you frequently see.
Wow. Cool. Very cool. And Pygmalion effect, because I'm not going to be outdone by you. Pygmalion effect. Hi, Mary, and just Arameed. Thanks for joining on Instagram. Pygmalion effect says it's not the expression, I'll believe it when I see it. It is, I'll see it when I believe it. So the strength of your BS belief systems will color and decide what you actually see. So if I think you're a negative person, Sam, I will only see the times when you're negative. I won't even see the times that you're positive. So the strength of your BS is so important to be aware of and to change if it's not working for you. I like that other view, actually. That's the first time I've seen my mug in the studio. I like that. I took a screenshot.
Did you really?
That's super cool. That's super cool. Okay. We're up to the last 6 minutes. So wrapping up, what have we learned today? And final word, Sam.
My final word is, if you're gonna find love, find it within yourself, because at the end of the day, like if you like love someone, give it like all your love to somebody else, they can just run off with it. You know what I mean? So if you like focus on yourself and work inside and out, then you'll have a much better life. And that's what it's all about, right? Living a great life. Also, don't limit yourself when it comes to like finding that perfect person, because more than likely they're not out there. You know, so you just got to find out if they're worth it or not, you know, and stick to your belief systems. You don't want to change for anybody else. So
beautiful. Nicely said. I'll piggyback on that. No, I will not get on your back. I will piggyback on that and say, we started the conversation by saying, you know, why, hi, Viva. We started the conversation by saying women tend to date up and men tend to date down, and you're attracted to people who aren't attracted to you. Those are common BS belief systems out there that you do not need to be limited by. And we completely shifted that focus to saying you have the opportunity in life, in this joyride called life, the many great stops in it, and it's a one-time thing that we know of. So why be limited by those two perceptions of what is normal out there? You can change that formula to say, I choose these three things, and it can be same or different than what Sam and I have said, to change your prescription that you're looking at candidates for dating with. So instead of I'm always going to be attracted to the man who isn't attracted to me, or a woman, or gender, non-gender declared, you know, whatever that person is, I can say I would like that person to be, and then the top three things, and they can be much more deep than just the physical attributes of the list of 6'2", body size, how many packs they have, and all of that.
12 pack.
12 pack. So that is hopefully things that we have imparted to you today. This is Thursday's Straight Talk with Dr. Marissa and co-host Sam Works. We would love you to chime in and do comments. I think we should start maybe a group to follow up and have some, you know, give their 8 cents worth, so that we can continue this conversation. I just don't have time to put that together. But if any one of you want to take that as a project, we can certainly continue discussions and create a group that just gets together once a week on the air to talk about important things like relationships and where we're at, and continue to have really edifying and beautiful and fruitful and hot and satisfying relationships. So, by the way, I did finally post the other
I
one.
saw that.
You saw that where I'm slapping your, you know, while we're dancing. So we'll see. Although I didn't do it as a reel. So when I went to reels and it wasn't there, I thought, oh my God, Instagram took it off the air. But anyways, so happy that you joined us today. This is the end of the show. It's all about balance, peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. I hope you had as much fun as Sam and I have. We'll see you next week with this Straight Talk with Dr. Marissa and Sam Works. Now go and have the best night ever.
Night. I like it.